Welcome back to my monthly series called Pokemon Sleeper Sunday, where once a month I go through a bunch of raw cards, graded cards, and sealed products that I think are completely slept on, and I think they will all do super good in this market. But we do have to give thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Platinum Protectors. If you guys are in the market for any type of case, for any type of collectible, Platinum Protectors have got you covered. They have cases for action figures, comic books, diecast, Funko Pops, movie box, trading cards, and video games. Super good selection, all different price points. Anything you can even imagine for the trading card world, they have it. Booster box cases, ETBs, Charizard UPC, Japanese booster box, Lorcana, they got it all. And then if you use the code POKEBEARD at checkout, you'll receive 10% off your first order of $50 or more. Check them out, all the links are in the description. But alright, let's get to it. Starting off with the Alakazam EX from 151. This card should easily be $100 in my opinion. Last sold 47, 47, 47, 60, 50. If you think about it, Alakazam, very popular Pokemon, Gen 1. The art's top tier, super nice detail, and it's in the most popular set in the entire Scarlet Violet era pretty much. There's no reason this card should not be $100. Next, same thing with the Zapdos EX from 151. It is going up in price. It was 45. Now last sold 60, 62, 62, 60. But I mean, I think the Altaria is worth more than this card right now. I mean, the Altaria is great, but it doesn't have 3 legendary Pokemon in the same card flying together. So I just think this card is also super undervalued. Next, the Iron Valiant EX. I think this card blows the new Iron Valiant out of the water for prismatic evolutions, and that card's very expensive. Of course, you know, the set's pretty tough to get right now, so there's not a lot of raw copies, but last sold for this 30, 41, 36, 35, 33, 30, 35. All right, next we have the Quaquaval EX. You know, think about this. This is like the Blastoise for the new generation, if you really think about it. And it's $10. It was $6. Now last sold 11, 14, 9, 13, 12. You got to think about that though. You know, it could be a kid's favorite starter Pokemon ever right here in beautiful special illustration rare form. Next, the Woe Chain. Same thing. You know, there's a ton of people that just started where this is, you know, some of their first ever legendary Pokemon. And you can't tell me that that's not good art. So the Woe Chain was 10, got down to 8. Came up a little bit, last sold 9, 10, 15, 9, 9. Next, the Ting-Lu. And you got to remember, this is in a $200 booster box. So not many people are just cracking these open. Ting-Lu is also very cheap. Last sold 8, 12, 8, 8, 10. All right, next, the Ho-Oh GX from Hidden Fates. This is the full art shiny. Beautiful card. I have a feeling a lot of Ho-Oh cards are going to move. As soon as we see this Ho-Oh art, I think it's going to spark a lot of Ho-Oh love, and people are going to want to go back and get some of the best Ho-Oh cards. And in my opinion, I feel like Ho-Oh's kind of got a little bit screwed over lately. You know, didn't really get much for the Sword and Shield era. I think just like a full art or something. But I think this is one of the best Ho-Oh cards. Last sold 24, 24, 34, 20, 20. And you can get this card very cheap in a PSA 10. And then we also have the Shining Ho-Oh. This is a promo for Shining Legends. SM70, super cool, and the Ho-Oh is actually textured on this card if you guys did not know. This thing went straight up. It was like $6-7. Now last sold 14, 14, 17, 11, 14, but still very cheap, super cool card. I mean, the box that this promo comes in is very expensive. Next, we have the Amazing Rares. The Rayquaza's going crazy. It was $2, now it's like $7. You know, the Celebi's moving up a little bit, the Jirachi's moving up a little bit. These are still very, very cheap cards, and I'm telling you, these cards are absolutely beautiful in person. I know they're not full art special illustration rares, but still very beautiful. All right, next, we have the Pikachu from Celebrations. Now, hear me out. This card is actually pretty crazy if you think about it. It is straight up an illustration rare, and it's the same scene as the actual base set Pikachu, but they just actually extended the art and made it into an illustration rare. I think that's absolutely crazy, and if they ever did that, like let's say for the 30th anniversary, they picked a bunch of, you know, random cards that just have the half arts that all these new people just don't even like and, you know, say it's just ugly. And they actually extended all of the arts and gave them backgrounds and stuff. I think that set would be absolutely insane. And I would much, much rather have that than just straight reprints. That's why I've always loved this Pikachu. So it is going up in price. It was 50 cents. And now it's like $1.20 to $1.50. But still, you know, with the 30th anniversary coming soon, this is not a bad card at all. But all right, next we have the Yveltal illustration from Paradox Rift. So, You know, when I was adding the illustration rares on this list, I like to add the cheaper ones that have not really moved a ton yet, because I hate telling you guys to invest in something, you know, that was literally $5 a couple months ago that's now $50. The odds of that card coming back down in price are much, much higher than, you know, investing in cards that really haven't moved yet. So these are the only two illustration rares that I added on this list that I felt, you know, still have a lot more room, and you cannot deny how crazy the arts are, and the Pokemon too. So the Yveltal, I mean, just look at that background. This card was $13. Now last sold 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 20. And then next, the Ninetales. This card is absolutely beautiful. It's crazy, and it's going wild right now. So it was $12. Now last sold 30, 30, 27, 30, 25. But I could see both of these cards being, you know, $50 cards, maybe $60, $70 cards. You never know, especially in this market. And I wanted to add another one, but my internet's all messed up, and that is the T-Tar illustration rare. If Groudon could be $100, I feel like Tyranitar could easily be a $70, $80 card. But those are my three favorite illustration rares that I think have the best potential. And, you know, there's so many other illustration rares that are doing good that are $20, $30 that were $5, but I feel like a lot of them are going to come crashing down hard. I mean, even the Persian's coming down, the Houndoom's coming down. So a lot of these illustration rares, they'll go up for a little bit and then come down hard. That's why it's much safer to invest in ones that have not really moved yet, or, you know, that are only up a couple dollars. Next, we have the Ladian. I'm a big fan of Ladian, a little bit of Gen 2 love. It was $2 to $3, now last sold 6, 6, 4, 4, 4. Next, we have the Diplin. Now, I added these cards to the list last time, and they're definitely going up. They were $3. Last sold 7, 7, 4, 7. And same with the Appleton. That art's super cool. Was $4. Now last sold 10, 7, 10, 10, 4, 7. And then we also have the Flapple from Surging Sparks. This was a $3 card. Now last sold 6, 6, 6, 3, 6, 4. But we have the Applin on the list also, and this card went straight up. I think this art is super adorable, though. Just seeing all the Applins in the tree, the whole scene is just super nice. This was a $3, $4 card. Now last sold 17, 13, 13, 13. A near mint at 4, but that doesn't seem right. Probably Japanese. A couple lightly plays at 7. So, you know, with this card going super crazy and the other one's moving, I could just see the other ones moving up a little bit more. Especially if like this Appleton here is just such a nice art. You know, I think that thing is top tier. All right, next we have the Quaxwell illustration rare from Paldea Evolved. That's a lightly played chart, but last sold $5, $7, $5, $5. If you can get any starter Pokemon illustration rares, I feel like for $5 or less, not a bad buy. I think the Raboot is also that cheap too. Next, the Pidgeotto from Obsidian Flames was $3, $4. Now last sold 6, 380, 883, 477, 547. So you can still find some of these cards for a really, really good deal. But I just feel like this card will definitely be over, you know, $10, $15 card. And no joke, almost all the illustration rares are moving up in price right now. I clicked on probably almost every single one, and I would say about 75% of them are up. Next, we have the Larvitar from Obsidian Flames. I've talked about this card a bunch of times. It was $2. Now last sold $4.97, $4.92, $5, $6, $5. But here's the thing. It sells for a decent amount in a PSA 10. Last sold $160, $152, $140. And it was at like $87, $80, $75 towards the end of January. So definitely going up in price a little bit. Not bad for a $5 card. Next, we have the Dondozo illustration rare. This thing, one of the most beautiful ones we've gotten. It's like a legitimate painting. And this card was $5. Now last sold 8, 8, 8, 11, 7. So still pretty cheap. And it goes for a decent amount in a PSA 10. Last sold 175, 199, 190. Next, we have the Bravery. Same thing. Feels like a painting. You know, this card was $4. Now last sold 6, 7, 12, 5, 8, 4. But yeah, I'm trying to get you guys these cards before they're already up, you know, 200% or whatever it is. So this card also sells for a decent amount in a PSA 10. Last sold 125 and 110. Next, we have the Phoebus from Surging Sparks. This card was about $6, $7. Now last sold 17, 12, 10, 12, 12. 16. But in a PSA 10, last sold 126, 155, and 125. So not terrible. And now we're going to check out some cheaper PSA 10 cards. The Pidgeot EX from City of Flames last sold $108, 115, 99. Next, we have the Hydreigon EX from Surging Sparks. Last sold 173, 173, and 186 in a PSA 10. If you think about it, this card is $70, $80 raw. So, only paying an extra $100 to get it in a PSA 10 isn't, that crazy. And it's a solid deal if you think about it. Next, same thing with the Alolan Executor. Last sold 170, 180, 157, 180. Pretty cool card. Next, we have some cheap 151 PSA 10 cards. Look at the Caterpie. Last sold 75, Machoke 80, Poliwhirl. No joke, probably the best illustration rare art-wise in the whole set. Only sold for $100. Psyducks at 140. And a lot of these are going up in price raw. Caterpie 66 right there. Ammonite 82. Machoke 150. We're even getting starter Pokemon, Ivysaur and stuff. Wartortle for like 150. And what else we got? Mr. Mime for 130. Dragonair for 160. There's a Pikachu down here somewhere. Nidoking for 100. There's a Machoke for 95. Dragonair for 135. Erica's Invitation for 110. Nidoking for 91. Ammonite for 80. Psyduck for 127. Tangela for $66. So there's a lot of awesome stuff you can buy right now. Even the Pikachu, which I say it all the time, it has the most Gen 1 Pokemon ever in a card, and it is Pikachu in 151, sold for $150. And this card is going up in price right now. So there's still a lot of cheap, awesome 151 cards in PSA 10s that you guys can pick up. Next, I think basically every special illustration rare in Paldea Evolved in a PSA 10 is just stupid cheap. Chi-Yu, which is, going up in price and is at like 30 something dollars raw, $115 in a PSA 10. Skeledirge, 115. We got Meowscarada at 85. Ticketung at 115. Chen Pao at 75, which is a shame. Another Chen Pao at 95. We got the Ting Lu at 60. Squawkabilly at 55. Another starter. Quaquaval EX only at $47. I mentioned it before, but there's a ton of kids out there where these three starters right here, this are Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur. You got to keep that in mind. And we're talking $50 to $100 in a PSA 10 for some of the best arts we've ever gotten. So yeah, very, very affordable. Next, we have the Alakazam in a PSA 10. Now, the Alakazam and the Zapdos are pretty close in price raw. There's like a $10, $15 difference. But the Zapdos is finally moving into PSA 10. And the Alakazam is still, last sold 180, 190, 190. I could definitely see this card being a $250 PSA 10 card. No problem. Very soon. Next, go into some sealed products here. Checking out some 3-pack blisters. Silver Tempest 3-packs, market price 15. Astral Radiance, market price 16. Paldea Evolve 15. Brilliant Stars, market price 20. Another one for 20. So not too bad. And you got to look a bunch. There's not always going to be a bunch of them for sale at that exact price. But people are constantly adding stuff and they sell relatively quick. All right, next we have some mini tin displays. So we got the Paldea Friends on market price $61. I want to say there's a Silver Tempest pack in here too. So that's not bad at all. And at $61, that's crazy. We got the Vibrant Paldea mini tin display, market price $70. The Shroud of Fable mini tin display, $88. But still, the Sinnoh Star mini tin display, $95. You gotta think Prismatic Evolutions is at $200. Pokemon Go is at $95. The Galar Power mini tin display is at $116. Celebrations mini tin display is only at $148. So even Crown Zenith market price $158. That's not too bad. Next, we have the Build and Battle Stadium, still very cheap. Silver Tempest, $63. And they don't make these anymore. Fusion Strike, $106. And Brilliant Stars is still at $50. MSRP on these is $60. Paldea Evolved is $50. So very cheap. You get a lot of packs. I want to say it's 12 packs. So not too bad at all. And you get 2 sealed decks, which do have some value. Anywhere from like $5 to like $15, depending on what it is. All right, next we have the Scarlet Violet base set booster box. I've talked about this box a bunch. There's so much going for it. It's the first ever set with silver borders. It's the first set with illustration rares, the first set with special illustration rares. The mascots are 2 legendary Pokemon that you literally get to ride instantly in the game, and you get them the whole game. It's got some of the roughest quality in the entire era, making all of the illustration rares very, very expensive in PSA 10s. Not to mention it has the Gardevoir line. So there's just so much going for it, and it's the cheapest Scarlet Violet Era booster box. And you guys know I don't like to buy a ton of stuff when the market is crazy, so in my opinion, this is the safest buy at the moment. It's also the oldest set, so less likely to get reprinted. So I think that's the booster box that I would pick up right now. Then of course, you know, try to lock in these newer sets on pre-orders and stuff. Next, checking out some Japanese cards. So the Ceruledge is going crazy for English right now. It's at like $200 something. But in Japanese, it's going straight down. You can get it in a PSA 10 for $87, $90. Raws $31, $25, $25, and we got a 9 sale at $54. Next, the Espeon, again, also going up for English. And this card is so cheap for the Japanese side. Last sold $138 at 10, $135, and then raw $63, $68, $70, $62. All right, next, we have the Roaring Moon EX, another card that I think has solid potential for the English side and is holding super, super strong. But this card is going down. It was at 151. Now last sold in a 10, 96, 93. And then Raws 20, 31, 27, 25. This is the same artist who did the Magikarp, the Giratina, the Galarian Moltres. So I can see this card being pretty popular. Next, the Shiny Treasure EX booster box. Going up in price right now. It was $48 like a month ago. Now last sold 60, 50, 55, 57, 60. I have a feeling it's going to start moving now. And not sure if we're going to get a reprint of this or not. But it has Bubble Mew and stuff, so you can't go wrong with this set. Next, we have the Triplet Beat booster box. This set has the Magikarp, last sold 73, but before that 52, 44, 42, 46, 42. You can still get this box very, very cheap. And next we have Crimson Haze. This has a Greninja in it. Again, very cheap, last sold 62, 42, 52, 42. All right, and last on the list, we have the Crimson Haze booster box. This set has a Greninja, last sold 62, 42, 52, 42. But not a bad option, especially with the English market being so crazy right now. And the cheapest these boxes ever really get is like $35, $40. Sometimes you get them cheaper if you get a decent amount, obviously. But so you're not overpaying too much. You know, we got multiple sales at $42. But all right, that was this month's Pokemon Sleeper Sunday. And like I did mention, my internet's kind of messed up right now. So I was going to add more, but none of these pages will load. I don't even get how I'm going from page to page right now, but it's at least letting me do that. So a little disappointed there, but still, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. And then if you guys like this content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. Then if you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last Pokemon Falling Friday, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.